A hush fell over the Galactic Academy's Grand Lecture Hall as alien students from across the galaxy took their seats, each a representative of their unique species, each with specific skills that had long established them as warriors, strategists, or scholars of war. Today was the beginning of their introductory course on interstellar warfare, a subject they had been eager to tackle, certain it would mold them into the protectors of their home planets and enforcers of galactic law. As the hall's holographic screens hummed to life, the Academy's AI instructor appeared, a figure known for its strict objectivity and unwavering adherence to facts. The instructor began the lecture with an unusual, almost solemn caution. "You are here to learn the art of war across galaxies," it said, "and understand the threats and the allies each species presents. There is, however, one race forbidden from all galactic warfare. Humans are banned from armed conflict by the Galactic Council." The words stirred murmurs of surprise among the students. To ban an entire species from war was unheard of. Species fought for territories, for power, for survival. Why would humans, a comparatively primitive species, need such a ban? The AI's tone grew more serious, a rare display that made the warning seem weightier. "You will come to understand that there are reasons for this ban. Reasons that do not follow traditional logic but are firmly grounded in reality." The alien students leaned in, intrigued, their curiosity intensifying. Why would a race known mostly for its technological underdevelopment and chaotic social behaviors be considered dangerous enough to ban? This paradox became the center of their attention, sparking discussions that lasted even as the lecture moved forward. Among the students, there was a wide array of reactions and perspectives on humanity. A Requaran warrior named Varesh, whose species was known for its impenetrable scale-like armor, scoffed at the idea of humans posing any real threat. To him, humans were frail, their soft bodies and lack of natural defense mechanisms rendering them physically incapable of competing with species like his own. "Humans are barely equipped to survive their own planet," he muttered to a fellow Requaran. "What could they possibly bring to the battleground?" His view was shared by many other species with physical advantages, each assuming humanity's weakness from their own limited knowledge of them. Other students offered different perspectives. Jinria, a Vortian tactician known for her keen, strategic mind, spoke of humans with a hint of disdain mixed with curiosity. Her people had studied human culture in passing, noting patterns of what appeared to be erratic, sometimes reckless behavior. "They're impulsive and lack the discipline of true warriors," she argued, citing the chaotic nature of human societies and their seemingly endless conflicts. "Their strategy is haphazard at best. They act without the patience needed in the field, relying on instincts rather than tactical precision." Despite this skepticism, there was an undercurrent of fascination among a few students. A pair of telepathic Zinros quietly debated the strange cultural rituals of humanity. They had heard stories of humans' intense emotional capacity, their ability to bond across vast differences, and their seemingly inexplicable resolve. The Zinros, whose psychic abilities allowed them to sense others' emotions, found human culture chaotic yet compelling, suggesting that perhaps it was precisely this unpredictability that led the Galactic Council to place restrictions on their involvement. As the AI instructor continued, it sensed a collective intrigue and chose this moment to delve into the history that shaped humanity's reputation. "Though humans may seem unremarkable to many, their history is unique," the AI began, projecting a timeline of human conflict across centuries. From primitive tribal skirmishes to global wars and countless uprisings, the story of humanity's conflicts unfolded before the students, detailing not just wars fought with weapons, but wars fought with sheer willpower, ingenuity, and the raw instinct to survive. The instructor cautioned that while humans were not bound by typical strategies, they operated on a type of resilience that transcended logic, one that had repeatedly allowed them to overcome both internal and external threats. It began with a focus on humanity's unpredictability. As a species, they lacked certain strengths, but they compensated with adaptability. They did not rely on sheer physical might or superior technology alone. Instead, they used whatever resources they had, adapting to environments, creating new tools, and even sacrificing themselves if it meant achieving victory. The students listened as the AI recounted specific examples of humans in past galactic conflicts. One incident highlighted how a small human fleet, vastly outnumbered and cornered, defied the odds and managed to destabilize an enemy force through tactics that seemed erratic and impulsive yet yielded a victory. Rather than panic, humans had turned their fear into a weapon, using unpredictable maneuvers and relentless attacks that overwhelmed their opponents, catching even the most seasoned galactic warriors off guard. The AI instructor paused, letting the weight of these stories sink in. Humanity's strength lies in their unpredictability, and their reaction under pressure is unique. Unlike most species, who adhere to predictable responses under stress, humans become more resourceful, more determined, and often more dangerous. It described moments in history when humanity, pushed to the brink, had made choices that were seemingly illogical but had secured their survival and even dominance. One student, an Agriton known for his mathematical precision, raised his hand and challenged the instructor's argument. But unpredictability cannot replace skill and discipline, he argued. Without order, a force crumbles. The AI acknowledged the point but continued, explaining that human resilience defied conventional understanding. Humans possess a particular quality, a raw, primal drive to survive and protect one another. This drive, combined with their adaptability, has enabled them to push beyond expected limitations, especially when faced with existential threats. A murmur spread across the room as students began to grasp the implications. Humanity's nature was far from what they had assumed. In a way, humans turn their very weaknesses into strengths, defying logic and norms to prevail. The instructor described incidents where humans, in their characteristic persistence, had refused to surrender, even when they were outmatched. Their history was littered with examples of rebellion and resistance, a pattern that hinted at a spirit unbound by fear or defeat. The AI concluded this segment with a final warning. Humanity's ban from galactic warfare is not just a precaution but a necessary step to maintain stability. Their refusal to submit, their instinct to protect and persevere, introduces a level of chaos that galactic warfare cannot accommodate. To let humans into our conflicts would mean inviting an element we cannot fully control. The alien students, now silent, began to understand the weight of this prohibition. They realized that humanity's strengths went far beyond the physical. It was their indomitable spirit and willingness to confront impossible odds that made them an anomaly, a species that, if engaged in galactic conflict, could alter the balance of power. Some students felt an uneasy respect, others a hint of fear, and all of them recognized that humans were far more formidable than they had ever believed. The Galactic Academy's AI instructor, sensing the heightened interest of the alien students, delved deeper into the historical archives. Its voice carried an unusual intensity, a mix of reverence and caution, as it began recounting a specific, pivotal conflict where humans had, for a brief time, aligned with a galactic ally. This particular incident, long embedded in the records, had become a case study on why humans were ultimately banned from participating in wars beyond their own world. The instructor displayed a holographic projection of the battleground. In this skirmish, the humans' allies, a highly advanced species with powerful energy weapons and impenetrable defense mechanisms, had been cornered by an overwhelmingly larger force. Outmatched in numbers and resources, retreat seemed imminent for the coalition. But when the Allied forces had almost resigned to defeat, the humans on their side had refused to back down. The hologram displayed scenes of human soldiers with minimal armor, inferior weaponry, and equipment that looked primitive compared to the advanced tech around them. Yet, instead of retreating, the humans launched a daring counterattack, defying every logical approach to self-preservation. This unyielding stance shocked the other Allied forces, who watched the humans repurpose anything at their disposal, adapting and innovating on the fly. They rigged traps from the remains of their downed ships, used the terrain to their advantage, and devised improvised devices that, though rudimentary, proved unexpectedly effective. Each setback seemed only to fuel their resolve, turning desperation into creativity, weakness into strategy. The alien forces they opposed, though equipped with overwhelming firepower, found themselves disoriented, unable to predict the humans' next move. Over time, What had seemed like a hopeless position shifted in favor of the coalition as the humans' improvised tactics and their sheer refusal to surrender forced the larger alien forces to retreat. The students listened in stunned silence as the instructor continued, explaining how this wasn't an isolated incident. In many recorded cases, humans, though often outmatched technologically, had shown an unparalleled capacity to adapt and change the course of a battle, leveraging their unpredictable nature. Humans didn't approach warfare in the same way most galactic species did. Their strategies were less about rigidity and precision and more about flexibility and survival. The instructor highlighted this difference, stressing how human adaptability often proved unsettling to those expecting standard approaches to battle. To demonstrate this adaptability, the instructor played a series of clips showing various tactics employed by humans in high-stakes situations. In one clip, a small human squad, cornered in a dense jungle, used guerrilla tactics to create confusion, using the sounds and visuals of the environment to their advantage. Their movements were swift and stealthy, and they used simple yet effective traps made from the materials around them. Another clip showed humans taking advantage of an enemy's terrain ignorance, redirecting a river to flood their enemy's position. Each scenario revealed the same traits: quick thinking, resourcefulness, and an ability to take even the most chaotic situation and shape it to their benefit. The alien students, who were accustomed to well-planned, orderly military strategies, were fascinated and a bit unnerved. While their own species adhered strictly to regimented tactics and protocols, the humans seemed to thrive in environments that defied structure. Their unorthodox methods meant that opponents couldn't predict their moves, leaving more structured forces vulnerable to confusion and panic. The instructor emphasized that this lack of conformity was something galactic leaders had never encountered in such a concentrated form, an enigma in an otherwise regimented galaxy. Humans, it appeared, did not merely fight to win, they fought as if every battle was their last, leaving nothing to lose and no option but victory. The students' reactions varied. Among them, Varesh, the Requarian warrior who had previously scoffed at humanity's weakness, now found himself contemplating the humans' ability to fight with such intensity. He had always thought strength lay in impenetrable defenses and sheer force, but watching humans leverage vulnerability into advantage was unsettling. "It's as if they're chaos incarnate," he whispered to his friend, shaking his head. The Vortian tactician, Jinria, who had earlier dismissed human behavior as undisciplined, was now rethinking her position. She grudgingly acknowledged the effectiveness of humans' improvisation, even if it lacked the order she valued. "There's something effective in their madness," she muttered, reluctantly impressed. But not all reactions were positive. Some students viewed humanity's improvisational style as reckless. The Agritan mathematician, deeply rooted in strategies based on calculated probability, found humans' seemingly impulsive tactics irrational. "Their so-called adaptability is erratic," he remarked. "This approach may yield results in the short term, but it's no substitute for true precision and control. They're as likely to make a fatal mistake as they are to succeed." This division among the students only grew as they discussed the lesson amongst themselves. Those who admired humanity's ability to think on their feet saw it as a formidable asset, while others remained skeptical, viewing such unpredictability as a dangerous liability. They debated intensely, some pointing out that without the ban, humans could be a destabilizing factor in any conflict. Varesh, still uneasy but intrigued, spoke up in defense of humanity. "Maybe it's this very unpredictability that makes them strong. We adhere to patterns they simply don't have. In some ways, they're free from the constraints we impose on ourselves." As the discussions continued, the instructor provided a final observation. "It's not only humans' resourcefulness or adaptability that leads to such outcomes. There's something deeper, an unbreakable resolve that has proven difficult to understand or quantify. The Galactic Council learned quickly that humans' refusal to surrender, combined with their constant innovation under pressure, introduces a level of risk that cannot be managed. This is why humanity's involvement in galactic warfare was restricted. In simple terms, they have the capacity to escalate any conflict into one of endurance, where they thrive, to the detriment of all else." For many of the students, this was a turning point in their understanding. The humans weren't banned from war because they were a liability due to weakness. They were banned because, even in perceived weakness, they were a force the galaxy couldn't control. In their unpredictability, humanity had a resilience that defied calculation and left no guarantee of conventional outcomes. The students now realized that humans were, indeed, a threat, not just to their enemies, but to the very structure of galactic warfare itself. The reality of humanity's true nature was both exhilarating and deeply unsettling. The instructor's tone shifted as it prepared to unveil the most critical part of the lesson. The alien students, eager to understand the true reasoning behind the ban, listened with rapt attention. In this final segment, the AI was about to introduce them to the unique and complex trait that made humans incompatible with galactic warfare, not their weapons, nor their tactical unpredictability, but something more fundamental, woven into the very fabric of their species. Humans, the instructor began, have what can only be described as an indomitable spirit, a willpower unmatched by any species in this galaxy. It went on to describe humanity's resilience, a psychological trait that could push them beyond what any other being might endure. While other species adhered to laws of survival, minimizing loss and maximizing gains, humans were driven by an inexplicable urge to fight, not merely to survive but to protect and persevere, even at unimaginable personal cost. To illustrate, the AI projected a final battle recorded during a lesser-known conflict, one of humanity's last alliances with an alien species before the ban. In this instance, a small group of human soldiers had found themselves entirely outnumbered, cut off from reinforcements, and with no viable chance of retreat. Most species would have recognized defeat and withdrawn to minimize casualties. But the humans hadn't retreated. Instead, they had chosen to make a stand. The scene displayed humans rationing every last resource, their faces determined, eyes fierce, even as their bodies bore signs of exhaustion and injury. With dwindling ammunition and energy reserves, they continued to fight on, innovating, sacrificing, and adapting as they fell back on anything that might help. The students watched as humans created improvised explosives, forged makeshift weapons from debris, and continued to engage the enemy with a resolve that transcended mere survival instinct. Alien forces witnessing this spectacle had been left stunned. Despite overwhelming odds, the humans had held their ground, ultimately forcing the enemy to abandon their assault. In the face of such raw determination, their enemies, trained, disciplined, and highly advanced, had hesitated. The human resistance had grown fiercer the closer they came to defeat, each new setback only hardening their resolve. Humanity, the instructor emphasized, does not yield. And this is why they are incompatible with the norms of galactic warfare. The instructor explained that, in the eyes of the Galactic Council, humans were unpredictable not merely because of their lack of strict adherence to tactical standards but because of this deeper, almost primal will to protect and to win at any cost. The Council had observed that humans were capable of taking desperate situations and achieving outcomes that defied all logic, all calculations, and all conventional military understanding. In cases where other species would retreat, humans would often push forward, risking total destruction rather than accept defeat. The students shifted uneasily, trying to grasp this trait. To many of them, warfare was a matter of strategic probabilities, of calculated risks balanced with tactical precision. But to humans, it seemed to mean something more. Their spirit, as the instructor termed it, made them a wildcard species, one that could not be constrained by the codes that governed galactic warfare. This unwillingness to conform posed a threat to the galaxy's order, the instructor continued. Humans would not submit to a loss. They would instead strive to turn every conflict into a battle of endurance, where their raw resilience and indomitable will gave them an edge that no other species could match or fully anticipate. The Galactic Council, realizing this, had imposed the ban for reasons of peace and stability. Humanity's presence in warfare was too dangerous, too destabilizing. In a way, the Council feared humanity not because of their advanced technology or numbers but because they simply didn't play by the same rules. They would redefine the nature of any conflict they entered, transforming it from a mere contest of power and resources into a struggle that would stretch beyond mere tactics. And in doing so, they posed an unpredictable threat to the balance of power and peace in the galaxy. As the instructor's lecture concluded, a contemplative silence fell over the room. The alien students were stunned, digesting this revelation. Some now felt an inexplicable sense of awe and respect for humanity, while others were uneasy, even fearful. They had come into this lesson with preconceived notions about humans, seeing them as primitive, chaotic, perhaps even inferior. But now they saw them differently, as beings whose raw determination and spirit were as formidable as any weapon. Humanity was dangerous, not because of their physical strength or technological prowess, but because of their will to persevere no matter the odds. Varesh, the Requiran warrior who had previously dismissed humans, was now struck with a newfound admiration. They would rather perish than surrender, he muttered to himself. It was a level of resolve he had never imagined. Jinria, the Vortian tactician, could only shake her head in wonder. She had spent years studying strategy, believing that adherence to disciplined tactics was the ultimate strength. But humans' strength seemed to lie beyond strategy. It was embedded in their very nature. One of the students raised a question. If humans were ever truly unleashed, what would stop them? The instructor paused, as if contemplating the depth of the question. That, it replied slowly, is why the Council ensured they would never be given that opportunity. Humans have been forbidden from galactic war not out of punishment, but out of necessity. The realization dawned on each student, leaving them with a sense of awe mingled with apprehension. Humanity's spirit had become a legend within the Galactic Council, respected yet feared, a testament to a species that, despite their outward simplicity, possessed an inner strength that made them a force the galaxy could not control. In the moments following the lecture, the alien students exchanged glances, each one pondering the unyielding nature of humanity. They now understood why the ban existed, and why humans were often left in isolation, away from galactic conflicts. It was not humanity's weakness, nor their inferiority, that excluded them. It was their relentless spirit, their unbreakable will, and the raw power of their determination that kept them at a distance. Humanity's existence in the galaxy, once a curiosity, now inspired a sense of reverent respect and a little fear.